Hello again YouTube, and welcome back to Just Get a Tesla. And today I've had my Model Y Juniper for exactly 1 week. I've done 300 miles and these are my first impressions. And you're going to have to forgive me for coming back inside the car, but here at the Tesla Centre in Aberdeen, it is absolutely lashing down with rain, which it wasn't when I set off earlier this morning. So I'm sheltering, and because this car is brand new, I haven't as yet put everything back inside it that was inside the previous car, such as an umbrella. But never mind. This car has done exactly 300 miles. I've done 296 of those since I picked this car up in this exact location 7 days ago, almost to the hour, okay? I am literally here Saturday morning. Last Saturday morning, I picked the car up. So I've had the car for a week and I was expecting good things from this car. But I'm really, really surprised and actually shocked as to just how good this Model Y Juniper is versus what I was expecting. And let me take you through what I mean, what has changed, and what frankly has absolutely blown my mind. So the first one is build quality. And when I reviewed the Juniper, when Tesla here in Aberdeen kindly lent me a car overnight and I tested a stealth grey one, it was the rear wheel drive, so it was the standard interior, and I was really impressed. But I think that in the review I described it as lots of iterative changes without being a generational leap forward. Well, all I can say is I'm really sorry, Tesla, I was wrong. This is a generational leap forward, and let me tell you why. Everything in this car is better than the previous one, and I do mean everything, okay? I'm even going to talk about the indicator stalk, which I described as the cheapest part of the car, and it's only got up down. It doesn't have the two settings the way that the previous one did. It doesn't matter. Software makes the thing completely intuitive. It's actually stunning the way that they're doing that. But inside this car, the build quality is night and day difference versus the previous one. Everything fits together beautifully, and I do mean beautifully. The materials are significantly nicer to touch in everywhere that you actually touch them. Everything is better, more premium, better screwed together. This is a big thing. The rattles have gone, and I don't mean reduced, I mean gone. This car is as silent as the grave riding inside it. I've had passengers in this car all week, so 300 miles, and it's had 2, 3, 4 seats full of people practically the whole time, including until 5 minutes ago before I got here. Everybody talks about just how much quieter this car is to ride in versus the previous Model Y. It really is that big a difference. And the other point on this one is, it's not just the fit and finish, the suspension improvements that have been made so that it is significantly reducing the harshness and the amount of jiggle and the vibration that you're getting. When you go over bumps in the old car, the previous Model Y, the chassis is what I would best describe as unforgiving, or crashy if you wanted to be unkind. You got basically this kind of crashing, shuddering through the chassis every time it went over bad bumps. This car, you can still feel them, but they are so much better damped. And I think they've got some kind of active frequency thing on the dampers. I forget exactly what it was, but it's made a significant difference to the jiggle. The jiggle isn't there. So a ride that is significantly, and I do mean significantly, smoother, and a build quality that is significantly better, and you get a car where it is so much nicer to sit in than the previous one that it's almost unreal. I sat in a very familiar environment. Yes, okay, so some of the design choices have changed a little bit and been improved, but honestly, it's so much more premium than the previous car. I just can't quite get my head around how big a change it is and how I didn't spot it in the overnight testing that I did. It just shows, right? If you've got a 45-minute test drive, that's great. It gives you a tour around it. If you can get the car for slightly longer, that really helps. But believe me, having lived with this car for a week, it is significantly better than the previous one. Even the indicator stock that I said previously was cheap and nasty, it's not, it's intuitive. I'm not quite sure what they've done in the software, but previously you'll push to the one setting to just make the thing flick and then push up to make it stay on for longer. This just does that with software now. It's very, very, very clever. The other obvious change with this car versus the previous car is the way that it looks. And it's not exactly controversial for me to say I didn't get the new design, the cyber look with the light bars on the front and the back. It took quite a while for me to understand what on earth they were doing, because this car doesn't look like a Tesla. Ironically, I have had somebody in the comments saying, all Teslas look the same and yours does. And I'm like, are you blind? This car looks nothing like the previous one. It's got the same silhouette from the side, but I mean, it looks different. Yeah, I mean, I know it's only a heavy facelift, but believe me, it looks more mean, more aggressive, more planted on the road versus the previous one. It really does make a difference. The light bars, I'm not a fan in general of light bars if they're just stuck on, right? Because, hey, let's add a light bar. But this is a cohesive design. Even the non-directly lit rear bar, I really, really like it. And I posted something on Instagram effectively pointing out that it looks like the Cylons of Battlestar Galactica. I love that. I think that it's a very, very modern design, and that's probably what is needed. And the interior refresh that's been done, again, it's just so much more modern than the previous car with the wood. And okay, so it was actual wood, quite thin wood, but it was wood. But I mean, wood's a bit 1970s, right? Wood isn't something that you would expect unless you were trying to do, you know, eco warrior, save the planet. But if you're saving the planet, why have you got bits of wood? This interior is significantly more modern than the previous one, even down to the LED lighting strips. And look, again, I've got mixed views on LED strips, although when I had a 2015 Mini Cooper, which had an LED ring around the central map thing and the controls, that was quite cool, and you could make it go different colors. You can't make the LED strip in this keep changing colors, which my kids are a bit disappointed about, actually. But hey, the LED strips, especially in the back, really just adds to the premium feel. The screen that's now in the back that lets the people in the back control things like heating and seat heating and ventilation, and then watch video and things, that is a significant addition. I had an aftermarket screen in the previous car because it's needed. It's great to see that Tesla have added the thing in. It is, right? This car was cheaper to buy than my previous one 3 years ago. A little bit cheaper. But it feels like it's about 10 grand more expensive, at least, right? Previously, it was probably overpriced for the quality. I'd say it's now underpriced for the quality. In the UK, in 2025, as I'm recording this, in this beautiful rainy summer's day, although yesterday was the hottest day of the year, I can't really complain. But this, today, in 2025, in June, in the UK, I would say is cheap for what you get. It's cheap for what you get, especially if you can get the 0% finance deal, which at the time that I'm recording this is still on, I think. Anyway, I think this is now a fabulous buy if you're looking at doing it. And if you're looking for upgrades, again, the upgrade versus certainly a 2022 as I had, or a 2023, is significant. Yes, there's the luxury car tax stupidity thanks to Jeremy Hunt that we've all got to pay on these cars, but hey, it's still worth the investment, I think. Okay, there's one thing that I haven't talked about yet, unless you're a Patreon, because I did a video on Patreon that talked about this. So check out my Patreon channel. If you're kind enough to support the channel, you will get exclusive videos and access to all kinds of other things as well. So have a look at doing that. But let's talk about efficiency, okay? I don't know what wizardry the Tesla engineers have done, but this car is astonishingly efficient, right? I don't know what on earth they've done or how they've done it. Today, in rain, in 13 degrees of temperature, so it's not warm, and there's rolling resistance from the water that's falling down from the Scottish skies. 40 miles, and it's been country roads, it's been fast dual carriageways, and it's been city driving. And in those 40 miles, I've done 211 watt hours per mile. 211. The average across the whole 300 miles that this car has done is 241, and that includes the first 4 miles where the use was really high because they were testing it, okay? Since I last put some charge in this car, and I've only charged it once, it's done 232 watt hours per mile. But 211 in the rain, in not very warm temperatures, is astonishing. What on earth have they done? And all right, I'm not hammering the thing, but I could not get the previous car to be this efficient no matter how hard I tried, right? Especially in these conditions. It was impossible. And okay, for the last 20,000 miles or so, I was on all-season tires, and there's probably a bit more resistance in the all-season tires. But go back before that. Go back to the first year and a half, 2 years or so that I had this car, and I was on the OEM summer tires. They were Hancocks, and they were special EV efficiency tires. I couldn't get anywhere near the efficiency that I'm now getting out of this all-wheel drive, remember, all-wheel drive long-range Model Y Juniper. It's phenomenal, right? It's absolutely crazy. The obvious question that people are going to ask is, how far can the car go? If you are new to EVs or you're thinking about getting your first EV, well, definitely just get a Tesla. But if range is still a concern, all I'd say is, even on the previous car, even in the winter, even on all-season tires, the car would have more power than my bladder had range, okay? The car could go further than I could go. And okay, so I'm a almost 50-year-old bloke with increasingly silver fox appearance. So my bladder is probably not quite as long-lasting as some younger people's ones, but I cannot drive for 4 hours without a break, right? And 4 hours on the motorway at 70 miles an hour is 280 miles, and this car will pretty comfortably do that, apart from the absolute depths of winter. Sorry, the previous car could do that. This car, who alone knows? I have no idea exactly how far this car is going to go. But here's what we're going to do. The next video is going to talk about range, because I'm sat here at the Tesla Aberdeen supercharger. I'm charging it up to 80%, and then I'm going to drive it home again. So we're going to have a quick look at range and efficiency. And as I said, I'm sipping electrons at the moment. We're going to have a quick look. And then after we've had a quick look, I'm then going to have some future videos where in a few weeks' time, I am doing one of my really, really long road trips. In fact, I'm doing the exact same road trip down to Bournemouth that I did in the previous car. So that trip is going to allow me to directly compare from one to the other, and let's see how much better this car is versus the previous one. And of course, if you want to watch those videos, then you've got to make sure that you've subscribed to the channel. A lot of new subscribers coming in, which is quite exciting, so thanks for that. So make sure you're subscribed, hit the like, share the video, right? It really helps the channel. Look, if you're looking at a Model Y or an EV in general, right? If you're looking at Tesla or you're not entirely sure, or your friends are saying, what are you doing? Share my videos, right? Show them the content that I'm doing. None of this is selective or fake or made up. For the people who've been with me for quite a while now, I literally just live my life and show you what I'm doing, right? 211 watt hours per mile on the way down. I'm driving to the conditions, I'm driving to traffic, I'm not dawdling, I'm not doing anything different. I'm driving the way that I drive, and it's quite damp. And the car just isn't burning power. I'm really excited about what that's going to be. So make sure that you're on the channel, you can see the thing coming, join me on Patreon, and I will see you back here very soon on Just Get a Tesla.